All right, Michael, close your eyes. Do you recognize this sound, or our listeners recognize this sound?
Sounds like I'm at Miyabi's.
Oh, you can open your eyes. I got the little spatula things. Just got a Blackstone like last week.
Nice.
Living life. I know you are the Blackstone veteran.
Well, if I do say so myself. No, we came home with Blackstone in January. So if you
nice.
call, what is that? February, March, April, May, 4 months.
Oh, yeah.
A veteran, yeah.
You know what? I'll have to ask you for some advice. Just got like my grill.
Yeah.
Bit the dust. I just, rusting out, getting old. And I was looking at grills. And truth be told, I mean, really, in my mind, Blackstone was like this like bajillion-dollar thing. And you can actually find, and I found this like a deal at Tractor Supply. And it's like, they're like, it's like a grill. It's like a normal.
Right.
And I was like, oh, this is cool. I didn't know I've never like had a Blackstone before. That like griddle, that thing's like heavy.
Oh, the metal thing that sits on top.
That's amazing. I was like, this is like, it's like basically like a, cast, like a giant skillet thing. It's really cool.
Yeah, we had to take it apart and we laid that down in my truck bed because, it was great. So what have you cooked so far?
Oh, man. Leanne can testify to this. I have to watch myself a little bit. I think I do have an addictive personality with certain things where I can do the same thing over and over. If I get really into it, there was a phase.
Like the same food over and over again?
Oh, probably. Well, I eat a lot of. I fall into some patterns, kind of, but it's more with
eggs
like activities.
And biscuits. Like 6 at a setting or something.
I'm trying to think of some of my phases. Leanne can probably tell you. I get into something. It's like, oh, I'm all about this thing. I'm like researching it all the time, but. Blackstone. Didn't know I wanted one until I saw one, and it was like reasonably priced. I needed a grill anyway. Memorial Day was coming up. I'm going to be grilling out.
Yeah.
And I've done the smash burger. So good.
So good. So good. Easy. So fast.
So easy. Everything cooks so fast. I'm just repeating what you said, but it's so true.
Oh, man. And how do you season your burgers?
Cool. Leanne has some, I don't know what it is, but it's some something.
There's this seasoning, and I'm trying to remember the company, but it's called The Blend. And it's just some salt, pepper, and some garlic.
Yeah.
And we use that on our burgers, and it's just like the perfect proportion.
Ratio.
Just sprinkle it on. And for me, like, you can get a package of ground beef.
Okay, yeah.
And then what I will do is I will take however much it weighs, and I try to get my patties around 0.3 pounds, like around a third of a pound, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So I like you can basically take however much it weighs, multiply it by 3. So if you have a 4-pound package of ground beef, you're going to get around 12 patties out of that.
Oh, yeah.
And so then I just cut these squares.
You divide it up. Yeah,
just
make it easy. I've seen this,
And I just throw those squares, like,
boom.
Yeah, I'll sprinkle the whole package with the stuff. And then when you smush it out, it seems like it's a good proportions. It's like, there's no like patty making or anything. No. You just cut
and
it.
And that thing cooks, like you said. Oh.
Throw those things on there. You have like the little round smasher.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I should have brought this thing. I bought like, it's cheap because I didn't know what I wanted, but I bought like this thing off Amazon. It's like 30 black stove accessories for like, it's cheap, like $30 or something. But I was like a million different things that are probably not that great, but I'm like learning with them. But yeah, I've got one of those smash things.
Yeah, so I got this round thing. Get a piece of parchment paper. Do you do that?
So I did use parchment paper. What I did use parchment paper. This is probably not good. I just like, it came with like the squirt bottles. I just like squirted a bunch of oil on the side of it. You know what I mean? But I did read you're supposed to use parchment paper.
Yeah, so I just put parchment paper on there, smash it down.
Yeah.
Parchment paper, smash it down. And it's like, it happens so quickly.
So quick.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about, is this meaty? Is this, Leanne likes hers like really cooked through. I like mine. You don't have to worry about that. Just boom.
Flip it over. Basically, a minute and a half, 2 minutes after you flip it over, put some cheese on there.
Oh, man.
Let that cheese melt.
You can crack an egg on the black stove. That's what I did.
Yeah.
And put the egg. It's like you can just do so much.
I haven't thought about doing that. We should start doing that.
You should.
Oh,
this morning had breakfast on there. Just through we did some bacon, some pancakes, and some eggs, and you have so much real estate.
I know.
You could just Leanne makes fun of me. Like I like cooking eggs. I'll do it as like a snack, like at night. And I'll wait. She'll hear me scream, be like, "Oh, did you break the yolk?" I'm like, "Yes, I broke the yolk," because everything's like so. I got like 3 or 4 eggs. It's all tight.
Yeah.
All the space in the world. Got the double spatula. You can get things where you want to.
I've got this spatula that's probably like
Oh,
this big
that's what I need to
for
get.
the smash burgers.
And
it's just
you get under. No.
yeah, you can get underneath all of it. Yeah,
It's so good. So I did smash burgers. Had to do the hibachi thing,
Yeah.
with the rice and.
How did that work?
Worked out really good.
Yeah.
Everything is like.
Did you do the rice like a day ahead of time?
I did. Yeah, I remember you said
that's
that.
perfect.
We did that.
Yeah.
And then this afternoon, do some steaks on the grill. And Leanne does not like steak. Some chicken. And it turned out really good.
We gotta talk. Don't like steak? What's going on?
I know. Let's go. Well, this is why she doesn't like steak.
Okay.
Because she likes all of her food cooked like well done. And so I wouldn't like steak either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you're just gonna like burn it.
I don't like belts. I don't like to eat a leather
right.
belt. Yeah.
So I think I mean those
She
are-
doesn't like to see any red or pink around there.
Nope. She's like, not for me. So I think that's it.
Man.
I know.
What did her parents do to her?
I know.
All right, we need to have an intervention like
we
where we
should
just have
force
some,
feed her.
at least like medium. Like
medium.
maybe even medium well, where there's just like
ease her
that touch
into
of
it.
white, pink in there. That's good. Like because I've slowly worked down. When I order a steak at a restaurant, I'll tell them medium rare because if it's medium rare or medium, I'm fine.
Yep, you give a little buffer. Yeah.
If it's medium well, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
I'm not happy. Yeah.
I'm right there with you. And if someone, besides my wife, if you like things medium well done, I don't trust you. I don't trust you. I'll look at you a little funny. I'm like, what's your angle? Like, what you got going on?
Yeah.
But Blackstone been a game changer. There's nothing I just love. Maybe because it's new. I just love seasoning that.
And it's outside.
It's outside. You're
Easy
out
to
there.
clean.
It's actually super easy. Got one of those like. I kind of like right now. Probably because it's new. I like cleaning it. You know what I mean? It's like. I don't know. There's something about it. Because I was a little bit worried. I bought it. Then I was looking up all these I was like, oh, what should I get? And I was looking at all these threads, and I was reading the hardcore people are like ridiculous, and they're like, well, it's a griddle, not a grill. They're like, if you really want, you need to have your grill, you need to have your griddle, and you need to have your smoker. I was like, well, that's not the world I'm living in.
Right.
I'm picking up one. I feel like that's like just be the best of all worlds because you do have that real estate. Just throw it down.
That's right.
And it's like I do like grill marks and that kind of thing, but the steak tasted so good. It worked out great. So good.
I still have my old grill.
And because you just added this.
Because I just added it because we got it as a gift from our in-laws because he wasn't using it. So, and since I've had the Blackstone, I've used the grill twice. And the meals that I cook on there. So Jill and the kids really like this meal where you take chicken breast.
Okay, yeah.
You marinate them in honey mustard.
Okay, I like the sound of this.
And then when you grill them, you top it with like a slice of bacon and some cheese.
Ooh, that sounds good.
And I was doing that in the normal grill. I'm like, I'm going to see how this works on the Blackstone. It worked fine. It was
great.
fine. So I don't know.
Flavor.
I don't know if I'll use my other. Maybe I should just go ahead and sell my grill and
make that money. And just Blackstone. I'm like so. We'll have to check back in. I'm like so sold on this thing.
Yeah,
it's just like easy for the ease.
It is easy and like you can cook stuff at high heat.
I love
and
the
smoke goes outside. You're not getting the whole house stinky.
So good.
Maybe a Blackstone and a smoker, but I don't think you would need a Blackstone and a grill.
Vegetables are great. I've been cooking like onions on there,
Grilled
like with
onions.
the smash burger has some onions on there. It's like so good.
Yeah.
Couldn't be more pleased. I'm like, okay, I need to start like looking up more recipes to try. But it's been and like you're saying, things cook pretty fast on there. Like you get going, it's great.
And we do have an exciting announcement. This podcast is now sponsored by Blackstone.
I love it. Sometimes I'll just, because I'm annoying kind of guy. I'll just walk around the house with the spatula, just trying to keep my skills sharp.
And Leanne and the boys like that.
The boys definitely like it. Leanne, not as much. I'm just trying to practice, get that arc on the shrimp. You know what I'm saying? Practice,
Like trying to.
It's all on the wrist. Yeah. Gotta work on that.
We haven't done shrimp. Have you done shrimp on?
No, that's something I have not done. I need to do that.
Yeah. So for your hibachi, did you just have like cut up chicken?
Yeah. What did we do? Yeah. Basically, we did cut up chicken.
Yeah.
We got like chicken thighs, cut them up, did that.
Did put teriyaki sauce on them?
Yeah. And I love just throwing the sauce like while you're cooking. It makes you feel so cool.
Like,
I love that. It's like that's half of the experience.
That's good.
So
that's
good. Blackstone, man.
You can get that crispy rice on the bottom. You like crispy rice?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
I
man,
do.
it's so good.
I do.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, everything has turned out like so good. I haven't had a bad experience. I'm not like the best when it comes to grilling or that kind of thing. But man,
sounds like you should have us over sometime and grill for us.
Hey, there we go, man. We should. Wow, I would love nothing more. We should do it. Hey, one of these days we should have. a Hail Mott get together. And I told this to Chloe the other day, just set a mic in the middle of the table and just, let's go at it, see what happens,
Yeah, that's good.
Anyway, the Blackstone has just yielded so much fruit. What a great purchase. It's already bearing fruit, which dovetails nice with our series we're on.
Oh, that is right. So we're on a series in our Thursday episodes through the purpose of the church. So we talked about kind of the big high-level purpose of the church, and we said ultimately glorify God.
Yeah.
Full stop. And whenever I get back to doing announcements at our church, probably never, but I'll say, the purpose of the church is to glorify God.
And then
just pause. Yeah. And then we do that by, doing those. Because I just think that we should have that at the foremost of our thoughts. And then we said, by bringing sinners to Christ, thanks to Christ likeness. So those two, dual things, evangelism, edification, catching your fish, cleaning them, all those different ways that people have categorized those or talked about them. And then the second one was, while you're doing that, what are your values? What are your priorities? And we said Acts 2:42.
Yeah.
The early church devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching, fellowship, breaking of bread, and prayer. So we kind of broke down how that might look in a church. And of course, that's still probably not practical enough to put rubber to the road. So you're probably going to have some type of program, some type of activities that you're going to, do over and over again, repeat, that try to put, feet to the ground to
that's great.
Really see this. So that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, that's the real life thing. So let's get into it. Let's go ahead and take it to the next level. From the heart of the Low Country in South Carolina,
it's the Take Two podcast, where we take theology to the next level.
We're talking a lot about programs, Michael.
That's right. Like C++ programs, Java programs.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, on the coach. I was going to say, I've read my Bible often, and youth groups aren't in there. I feel like you're just adding to Scripture.
Yeah. Have you heard people say that?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Not real people, but people online in these
those
Facebook groups.
Real people.
Yeah, like not like people I talk to in life, but they're like, youth groups. You're just adding that. That's we don't have children, no children. And part of me, I respect where they're coming from. I think their convictions are strong and great. I don't agree with them, and I think there is a place. And I think they're pushing back against like life's a giant pizza party until you're a grown up, and that's not good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you could do youth group wrong, but you can do
that's right.
sermons wrong.
That's right.
You can there's lots you can do wrong. So just because you can do it wrong doesn't mean that it in and of itself is bad.
Yeah, I think that's good when it comes to programs. It's like at some point, no matter if you're like I'm a purist, it's like your church probably has to have programs in some capacity. Yeah. So, how do we know they're great, not great, working, not working, biblical, not the best ideas? I'm excited for this podcast because it's good to see. It's easy to talk without the actual necessity, specifics.
And as we're talking, maybe you can do a quick look up for us. But maybe in Ephesians 4, there's a passage that talks about, singing a song, a hymn, each one having something to share. And then 1 Corinthians 13, Paul kind of gives a similar outline of what should happen at a church service. But while you're looking that up, we do have those kind of verses, and maybe there's other verses that you're thinking of that kind of give you some basic guidance as to what you're going to do at a church service. But there's not a whole lot of, explicit instructions for do this, then this, then this, then this.
Yeah, I think that's part of the challenge where things are all over the place. I think it's a two-way street. It's a challenge, but it's also, a little bit freeing in one way, but you don't want to abuse that. So in Ephesians chapter 5, I will start in verse 18. It says, "Don't get drunk with wine, for that's debauchery, but be filled with the Spirit, addressing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing and making melody to the Lord with your heart, giving thanks always and for everything to God the Father in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ." Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Yeah. Submitting to one another out of reverence for Christ.
Yeah. So here we're kind of told this is one of those one another's, and the one another's is singing songs, spiritual songs, hymns, psalms. So, we at our church, we spend quite a bit of time, in our song service. I mean, we had a great song service yesterday. Whoever was leading just knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, and then there's like different ways you can do it. I think I like our church. We've got several different. I think it can go wrong when you have too many cooks in the kitchen, but it's nice. People take their own kind of like style a little bit. It's like different, but it's all kind of under the same umbrella.
Yeah, and I've never shared this with...
breaking news. You heard it here first.
Chris or Tim, I assume that I don't think people are meaning ill towards anyone. But I've had a couple people say, I really appreciate it when you lead singing. And I assume that there are people that come up to Chris and Tim and say
the same thing,
I really appreciate it when you lead singing. So you get this kind of variety, different personalities, so it's not the same. And it helps. It's helpful for me because I like leading, but I also like being led sometimes. Yeah, so
that's right. Yeah.
You're not always each week trying to come up with, what songs you're going to sing.
That I like that. Really good example of different giftings and that kind of thing.
All right, and then this other passage, I said 1 Corinthians 13, but that is the love chapter, as everyone knows. But if you go through 1 Corinthians 14, there's these overall kind of principles. Obviously, 1 Corinthians, the Corinthian church at Corinth was struggling with speaking in tongues. So he's going to have a lot of stuff that kind of limits that. But he's going to talk about, each person, you get together. Someone may share a prophecy. Someone may share a tongue if there's an interpreter there. But, it's very, it's not very didactic on what you're going to get. It's big, broad principles instead of, particulars.
Yeah, at the very least, maybe worship should be orderly, should be building one another up.
Right.
When it starts becoming chaos or all about me or something, you're kind of walking down the wrong street.
All right, so what programs? So, when we say church programs, some people may think like Awana.
Oh, yeah.
Or Pastor Pirate.
Yeah.
And those would definitely fall into that category. But even, your worship service, that's a program.
Right.
Your sermon time, that's a program. How do you do Sunday school?
Do you have Sunday school?
school?
Yeah, that's a modern invention kind of, right?
Small groups.
Yeah.
Potlucks. All the normal activities that you go through. Plus maybe there was a time that we used to have Western Day.
Oh, yeah.
We don't do that anymore. Yeah. We used to go around during Halloween and we would hand candy out.
Yeah,
we don't do
right,
those.
Yeah.
But so we evaluate those things and we decide, do we want to keep doing this? Is this something that we think is paying its dividend? So all of those would be under the scope of what we're talking about today for programs.
Yeah, that's good. So really, pretty broad category.
Very broad.
A lot of options. And within that, like you say Sunday school, that's a big decision. And then Sunday school could be done 18 different ways.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have you could break this down more and more as you kind of go down the list.
Yeah, and so I'm sure you come from a different background, maybe than what we do at CBC. I grew up in a background where you kind of just had set Sunday schools, there was some literature that was put out by our denomination.
We actually had a lot of Sunday school classes. Like we had a lot more than CBC, where it was like you had like the young singles, you had the young marrieds, you had you had like a bunch of categories, but it was like just that instead of, and it would run a lot of times on curriculum. I think you're right, like every little age group. It was almost like how they do it in elementary school, just kind of scaled up across the board.
Yeah, maybe not as many, but I think we had the same basics. So you had like the older class would be like the older women, the older men. I don't know why they're always separated.
Yeah.
And I think separating men and women can be good for a time in the season. And then we had like a college age class, and then you might have the young men's class or something like that, or something.
Yeah, and you could do that a bajillion. Yeah, so many different ways. Every church, like you're saying, does it different. At CBC, we typically, it's a little bit different. We have like 1 or 2 classes usually.
Right. For our adults.
Yeah.
And then sometimes our teens are with us, and sometimes they're separate, depending on what
sometimes it's women, most times it's all together, but it takes these different shapes.
Yeah, I think we're more variable because we're looking like, what do we want to teach? Yeah. What's the best way to split that up? All right, so why programs matter? They are kind of like we talked about. They're where the rubber meets the road. They're the vehicles for if you want to be about fellowship, and the prayer and the word and breaking bread, you're going to have something that does those. And so you should view your time of and singing and worship, or your Sunday school, or your small groups, or your times on Wednesday nights, or whatever you do, is this a time where we're primarily, about God's word? Are we primarily about fellowship? Are we primarily about, worship, breaking of bread, remembering Christ and who he is? Are we primarily about prayer? And you should have some programs, some things that you do that emphasize those 4 different categories.
Yeah, that's really good, because whether you're cognizant of it or not, you're communicating to the churchgoer or to the outside world, like, these are the things that actually matter.
Right.
And this is why they matter, because we are about expository teaching. Every time you come and hear a sermon, we're going through a book, or most of the time, you're sending a message that's really important to us, that we are in God's word, versus like other churches might do, like, hey, it's like, we'll do movie of the month or something, and we're working through that, and you might be like, okay, they care about God, but they're kind of coming at it a different way. You're communicating all of these things.
Right, and you could have movie of the month, but I wouldn't want it to supplant
to
sermon.
Be like the primary thing. Yeah, you
want to keep the big things. Like, I think this year we're going to do our 2nd annual pickleball.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and so what we're saying by that is fellowship is important to us. It is a key part of the church dynamic. That's a program, and so it's going to help us to implement some of what we want to get done.
Here's one. I thinking about worship. One thing that I grew up with a lot that was a staple, and then it's not a staple at CBC, but it's funny. They're like pattern. I think this is a good thing. I've only been a member at not that many churches. That's probably better than being a member of like 55 churches. But we it was like a huge deal. I feel like it was always like, I thought every church did like special music, or like like we had a choir, and then we had like, it would always, maybe be like the same 15 people, but it was like always like, it was usually during the offering, it was like special music time or something like that. It was like a staple kind of thing. And it's funny, like, you think about when you go to church, like what patterns do you like default to or fall into, you know what I mean?
No, that's good, because similar, we would have a special, I think my church, the church where I grew up, they have gone away from that too, but maybe it was a
cultural thing,
cultural in time, and maybe churches as a whole are moving away from that. But we would have a special almost every Sunday morning where someone sang, and then we had what we did a third Sunday singing.
Okay.
So every third Sunday of the month, we would just have that whole we also had preaching 2 times, Sunday morning preaching
and Sunday night.
And Sunday night preaching.
That was big with us too. Yeah.
And but every third Sunday we would take Sunday preaching off at night.
Okay.
And then you would just have anyone who wanted to sing a special, or if you had, you could play or something. Yeah. And then you would have like a potluck after that. And it was good.
Yeah. That's one of those 2 services a Sunday. I feel like that was a cultural thing that has fallen by the wayside.
I look back at that now. I'm like, how in the world did we do that?
How did our pastor preach 100 sermons a year? Or like, you know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
A lot of because I feel like you talk to most people, and most places don't do that as a general rule.
Yeah. All right. So these programs, they help you organize, implement your church's biblical purposes and priorities in practical ways. And if we just say, hey, we are about fellowship,
right?
But you don't ever have a pickleball night, or you don't ever, have small groups get together. Then are you really about fellowship?
Yeah, you're not putting it into practice. There's no meaningful way for that to happen. No vehicle to get to your destination. Yeah, it's just lip service.
Yeah. So if we say, we're going to glorify God, and we want to bring sinners to Christ, saints to Christ likeness, and in doing that, we think that falls into these 4 categories: teaching God's word, fellowship, worship, prayer. Here are some things that might fall into those categories. So for teaching, we've already talked about Sunday school, men and women's Bible studies. Maybe it's a youth group, youth conference. Maybe once a year we have like a focus on missionaries, or maybe your church has a revival once a year or something. You may have a special time where you're looking at the word. So all those types of things would kind of fall into that broad category of, Bible-focused programs.
It's great. Fellowship, if you're from a Baptist background, potlucks are a staple.
They are.
Gotta have that. Small groups, just like there's men and women Bible study for teaching, some of that can be a means where you're probably going to connect people in a fellowship way a little bit more. Same thing, retreats. So these can be multi They can work from multiple perspectives. It's not like this, we're only teaching you, don't talk to your friend. It just kind of naturally sets yourself up. If you do an overnight retreat or something here and there, you're just facilitating fellowship.
Sometimes like a service project can be a great venue for fellowship. You get people rubbing shoulders together, and it could be ladies putting together, decorating this, maybe an older lady's house or something that's needing, you could have men that are renovating a house or, those are good times of fellowship because often you get to know someone more when you're doing stuff like that than you are just sitting,
Totally agree. When it comes to worship, I see communions on here. I feel like that's all over the map. Like we do it once a month. A lot of places do it once a week. A lot of places do it once a quarter, like on a Sunday night. Like it's all over the map.
Yeah, we did it once a quarter every fifth Sunday. Where we grew up, I believe, and I think now once a month is probably your minimum.
Right. Yeah. It seems like there should be some significance to it. Where the church I grew up in, once a quarter. It was a Sunday night, and every night it was like every time the sermon like revolved around the Lord's Supper. It was like, okay, we're doing this thing again. It was like the same. I don't know. It was not a great emphasis.
All right, so let me just be honest and transparent, and I'd like to say the same from you. When I was younger, and we would have people give their testimonies, I was always like, I don't really know if I like this. But as I've gotten older, I've enjoyed it more. Did you experience the same
I've
thing?
loved it the whole time because God is honored, and that's no. I'm just kidding. Yeah, as a kid, I think you don't appreciate some of this quite as much. We're like, we're just adding 5 minutes to whatever activity we're doing, or
right. But I think testimonies, like especially you get someone that kind of just telling their life story. Yeah, it's kind of one way fellowship, but as a means of getting to know folks. Yeah.
Well, I like that a lot. Prayer. Every church practices prayer a little bit different. Whether you have a dedicated prayer night. Whether you have a prayer team, I know some places do. Some places have prayer chains or gossip chains. Depends on how you use it. It could be like I love it. We should do a whole episode on like unspoken prayer requests. It's great.
I've got 7 unspokens, so
they're really important. Unspoken though, like it's great. So there's a bunch of different ways you can try to emphasize all of these different facets. It's just are you going to do that, and how are you doing it?
All right, so those are kind of the programs, why they matter, what they examples of them, how you might evaluate them. Matthew 7:17 through 20 talks about a good tree bearing good fruit, a bad tree bearing bad fruit, and I think that's talking about people there. But you could use that principle to say, are we bearing the fruit that we want to out of this ministry? And you could be like, our sermon ministry is just not bearing the fruit. We need to get rid of the sermons altogether. Probably not where you're going to go.
Yeah, maybe you're like, hey, maybe we're not doing sermons effect. It's like, hey, we're not. Maybe you're like, oh, we should do expositional preaching, or it's like, oh, this is not like landing. Or you probably wouldn't be like, I guess we're not doing teaching anymore. But you're right. It's like maybe you are in a small group and it is nothing but gossip, and you're like, okay, that's not good fruit. Maybe we need to reevaluate, mix it up.
Retool. Yeah. No, that's good. So here's some questions that you might ask about your program. Is your program clearly supporting evangelism or edification, and is doing through one of those 4 Acts 2:42 principles? If you can't tie something you're doing to something like that, it may not be,
you should definitely
fulfilling your role, the role it should be.
Bigger question is Christ glorified in it? If God and Jesus Christ is not getting glory, probably not doing it right.
No, yeah, that's good. And do you see some fruit out of it? Do you see people growing in their faith, in their knowledge, in their love, in their service, or maybe the opposite? And if it's the opposite, maybe we should think about retooling it or cutting it.
Man, good question. If this program disappeared tomorrow, would the mission of the church suffer? It's great. You're always kind of tying it back to that mission, making sure it's staying connected.
And really this is all to talk about impact and needing to cut impact. No, Zach is our impact leader. So.
That's good. Some warning signs. We've done this for the last 80 years. We're going to keep doing it, by golly.
Why are you doing this? Because we have always done it this way. Probably not your best answer.
That's the only reason you're doing something. Not great. Here's a good one. Leaders dread it. No one's excited. Yeah. People are just going out of obligation not great either.
Yeah, and I think there's a time and place to discipline yourself to do something that's good.
Yeah.
But if everyone is like, oh, why are we doing this again? Then maybe, even if you take a break, I think like we took a break from our Valentine's dinner one year just because it felt like...
Mix it up. Yeah. It's tired. Yeah.
It had been tired and we needed to rethink it, revamp it. And maybe this year was our first year back after we took a break. I don't remember all the details.
I think you might be right. Yeah.
But we kind of did things just a little bit different this year. And I think it kind of breathed some new life into it. So
no, I like that a lot. It's okay to take breaks, mix it up. Another warning sign is it becomes a source of pride. Or it's like, this is my territory, this is my thing, and you're kind of, building an identity around that rather than the mission. That can be, which can be hard because there's certain things you probably have giftings towards, and you feel very passionate about. And a lot of times that's not a bad thing at all, but you can take that maybe too far.
No, that's good. Yeah, and so what we're suggesting is that sometimes programs should come and go.
That's good.
The needs of your church are going to change. Sometimes people just want some novelty. They just want something new, something that's different. It doesn't mean that there was necessarily anything bad with it, but as long as they should not become sacred cows. There's very little in Scripture that tells you, how to apply this. So it's okay if you switch out Awana for Patch the Pirates, or you do something different if that's what's called for.
No, that is good because programs can become idolaters. I was trying to think of it's always hard to think of like specific examples because you don't be like, well, Michael, this program has become idolatry. But I think like we have had some good examples of where we've like I think that's great. Valentine's banquet. It's like, man, let's take a break. Let's mix it up. Let's do something different for Thanksgiving or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I think there's something there.
And the year we took off, I think was it the year that we had Impact? Like provide free babysitting. We just said, hey, we encourage you.
Yeah, maybe it was something like that. We've done that. Yeah.
Where we're like, we're going to provide free babysitting, drop your kids off, go, spend some time together because we're encouraging that husband-wife relationship. So, there's different ways to meet those needs.
Yeah, I love that. Don't hold things too closely because when you do, there's something, that can be a yellow flag. I like that.
Yeah. Here's some examples. Choir wars. I've never heard of a choir war, but
honestly, let's do it. Choir war. That sounds kind of fun.
Watch out for the basses.
Nice.
If you have like old, tired out youth programs, really longer connecting to the youth, maybe you need to reevaluate those. Yeah. Maybe we used to do door to door.
Yeah. I think that's another cultural thing.
Yeah. And so we would knock on people's door, give them the gospel. I'm not saying that's wrong.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's less effective in today's culture.
Worse and worse. In HOA, culture,
no soliciting,
it's like everyone gets so
stuff.
mad. You're on Facebook and everyone's like, oh, this church is doing this again or whatever.
Yeah. And so what may have been, acceptable and tolerated and bore fruit 20, 30 years ago, maybe today is not.
Man, our church, we used to, it was so fruitful. We would go to apartments and be like, hey, I'm going to set up a kickball game. All the kids in the apartments are going to come. When I worked at a camp, we would go to the park and just be like, hey, little kids, let's go over and play kickball. Can't do that anymore. And it was we would have 20, 30 kids and it was totally fine. You start walking up, doing that kind of stuff. It can, depending on the context, not work out well.
Yeah. So above all of these things, we talked about this, I think it was last episode, we talked about the church of at Ephesus in Revelation, where it said, you're doing all these good things, but you lost your first love. So in doing your programs, they should, reflect your first love of glorifying Christ, bringing sinners to Christ, saints to Christ likeness. And if we've lost that, it's okay to reevaluate it. Maybe we don't axe the program altogether. Maybe you just retool it. Maybe you get fresh leadership. This is kind of a joke at our leadership planning. But I have done the Good Friday service for forever. And I'm always I think it's important. We should do it. And I want us to do it. And I'm happy to do it, but I'm also happy if there's a change up, if we do it a little different, because I had done it over and over again. But it was important enough to me that if no one wanted to stand up and do it, I was like, well, I'll keep doing it.
So as we look at this, it's good to have these natural checkpoints. Like, give feedback to your leaders. You can do it in a kind way and be like, I don't know about this. I think it is also good when you give feedback. It's also great to have a solution as well, or something. It's not, don't just like tear down to tear down, and I think there's a way to present it where it can be taken very, very well, where you're not like attacking their very being.
Right. Yeah. Obviously, demeanor and motivation. You come humbly, hat in hand, like, hey, I just want to ask you some questions. I noticed these things. Have you ever considered? Those are a lot better than this program. Blah blah blah.
That's great. And when you have to change, make a pivot. That is not a failure. I think keeping that in mind. It's just such everyone gets on their like pet program or whatever. It's such a touchy thing, but it's so necessary to be able to let go of those things.
All right. Kind of a closing thoughts. Hopefully you caught this. It's okay to try something new, but new doesn't always equal better.
That's true.
If you have something that's serving the people's needs, sometimes people just want new for new's sake, and that's not what we're saying here either.
Yeah.
But sometimes some small changes can help out. Anything else you got on this?
No, I think that it's just good to be just like with everything else, be purposeful, be intentional, think about what you do, and just evaluate it. Is this biblical? And then on top of that, is it producing this fruit? Is it going off the rails? And are you using people's giftings? Because that's a lot of things, why things change. It's like,
Absolutely.
we don't have someone to drive that like we used to. We got someone else who can maybe they're more focused in apology or whatever. It's like, they could step into this new ministry and be serving.
That's good. All right. That is our take.
Thanks for listening to Take 2. Find us wherever you find podcasts and on YouTube for those who want to watch our video cast.